Time has always been an issue, and we always try to compete with it in our daily life. Many of us think about what time is, but it's really hard to define time. You cannot literally see or touch time, but you can see its effects. What happens if we were late for something and couldn't make it? We started to feel the pressure. If I could have waken up early to catch the bus? If I could go back in time? Most people in their minds always wish to go back in time and fix something, undo it or redo it in another way, or others are too scared to take a decision about something, and they're thinking, if I could see what will happen for me in the future? Well, what if it could happen? What if you could be a time traveler? It turns out that, in some sense, we are all time travelers. As you sit down drinking your morning coffee, time is passing by around you, and you can somehow say you are moving forward in time. But what does time traveling have to do with that? Simply, time traveling is a concept of moving forward in time and space, or back in time and space, moving objects, information, or humans, without experiencing the intervening period, which is the normal rate of time. Since the 19th century, and time traveling has attracted the attention of many people, especially scientists and writers, including movie writers.
It took the creative magic of George Pell and the fabulous production know-how of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer to catapult you through time into a world that is yet to be.
Why is it that we usually ignore the fourth dimension? You see, we can move in the other three. As the doctor said, up, down, forwards, backwards, sideways. But when it comes to time, we are prisoners.
Which is all based on the theory of Albert Einstein, the theory of special relativity. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time slows as an object approaches the speed of light, which causes time dilation, which appears through twin paradox.
Theory, or the idea of twin paradox, using time dilation of special relativity. That if we have, so the story of the twin paradox is actually quite simple. You have a twin, okay, one of them is staying on Earth and the other is traveling the space. So he's taking a spaceship which is going with a speed closer to the speed of light, and he traveled, let's say, for example, for 5 years in his time, okay? So the time in the spaceship goes for 5 years. But when this guy comes back to Earth and meet his brother, he found him actually, he's like aged guy already. Like he's now, instead of 20, he's like 70 or 60. So within the 5 years time of the traveling astronaut, it is equivalent to 30 or 40 years of the time on Earth. We can actually think of this as a time travel, okay, but of course this is only time travel to the future, okay? And I think every physicist agree about this time travel, or believe in this time travel, because there are experimental evidence, there are experimental proofs that this is happening.
But how can we maintain time traveling?
Well, this is one of the predictions of the special theory of relativity. But it needs to discover a new phenomena concerning time. Without this phenomena, we cannot perform this idea or confirm its presence using technology only. Technology is working with new phenomena. So we are waiting for a new phenomena in order to confirm the time traveling.
Laws of physics is not against that we can go back in time and watch things, but there's still, we don't have the means, we don't have the tools to do this, okay? We talk a lot about time machines, okay, but in fact nobody was able to build a machine which can take us back in time.
Well, if I talk about time machine in particular, I might be misled because I had a vision that a time machine may act like an airplane. or flying carpets. And that is very difficult to be persuaded. Even if we talk about, if we would like to compare between flying carpet and airplanes, that if you use that flying carpet, for example, you will figure out that you are shivering in air without any kind of protection. That's why you have to make a specific type of machinery that will insulate you from the outer changes. I mean, the sudden change of temperature and pressure and so on, as we have it in the airplane. This question, by analogy, should be addressed in case of time traveling. What kind of materials that will help us to be insulated and be shielded from the effect of sudden change of time, which means a sudden change of energy? How could we maintain such a thing like that? If we have access to find out such a material that will help us to avoid damages that affect our biological clock by moving forward or backwards in time, then the thing will be more reliable.
Are there other ways of natural time traveling aside from the time machine?
There are actually other phenomena which can also play a major role in time travel, which is gravity. If we are closer to a black hole or a wormhole, this could affect time, definitely. So if we are closer to a black hole, actually time will go slower. From the point of view of somebody watching the black hole from a distance. And also if you are closer to a wormhole, will have the same effect, okay? But you can think of this also as a time travel, but again, this is time travel only in one direction. But to do it in both ways, we don't know yet. We don't know how to implement that. But still, the idea is open. The grandfather paradox is that if you go back in time, okay, so you have a time machine, you go back in time, you kill your grandparent. Okay, so if you kill your grandparent before he got married, well, you won't be there, okay? So this is why actually some of the scientists thinking about time travel, that they say actually in order to live in a consistent, logically consistent universe, okay, you cannot do this. So maybe this is inherited in the laws of physics, okay, that you cannot go back and kill your grandparent, because if you killed your grandparent, you won't be there, okay? So we'll have logical inconsistencies between your existence and, of course, the murder of your grandparent, okay? So this is what is called the grandfather paradox.
Travel to the past and changing history, and that's really completely abandoned by the laws of physics. And if you have the ability to travel to the past, you will be watching incidents without any interference. How you will look like, what is your coordinates at that time, it needs to be calculated.
What are the probabilities and non-probabilities of time traveling happening?
Predictions of special theory of relativity prevents traveling with the speed of light of any material particle. I mean, any particle who has a rest mass. So it prevents it completely. But we can approach the speed of light even a very small particle like an electron cannot travel with the speed of light because of its mass. The mass becomes very huge at large velocities, which needs a very huge amount of energy to accelerate such particles. So there is a limit.
Traveling neither to future or to the past for a human body is not like a probe, like a coin. You just have it, and once a sudden it disappears, and after a while it comes back. No, your biological clock should be affected, and that is another question. And how can you deal with that stuff?
When you move in a frame, like if you are riding an aircraft which is traveling with the speed of light, okay, you won't feel the speed. Okay, your body will not feel the speed. It's like Earth is traveling with very high speed in space, but we are not feeling that. Okay? So it's not dangerous at all, because our bodies will not feel this speed. Our bodies actually could feel the acceleration, because the acceleration will actually appear as a gravitational force, okay, which is squeezing our bodies in the spaceship. But it won't feel the speed. If the speed is very high speed, but it's constant speed, okay, this will have no effect on our bodies. So it will do no harm actually to our bodies.
If you travel to future, will you be meeting yourself? That's a little bit ironic, because how can I meet with myself? And myself is coming from the usual stream. So am I going to be separated from myself? It looks very odd to be illustrated, but somehow, if I go and travel to future, will I be able to see my ending or not? Or what about if I go after my death? Where shall I find? It's another question that we have to bear in our mind, that nature must give its word to prevent things that be of that extent. Well, if we are planning to travel to future, we have to bear in our mind that we are no longer considering ourselves as a test particle. A particle does not be affected by its surroundings. No, we are affected by the changing of matter and energy across space and time. How could it be dealt with that? This is another question, and this is another way of challenging. To say, if we travel to future or traveling to past, will we be able to be in safe or not?
Time travel remains a debatable issue, like anything at first, like flying, going to the moon, but it makes you wonder if it could happen. Can you handle it?